Hey everyone, sorry the video is a little bit late. I've had a few things going on, so yeah, why don't you just take a look at May's models? First up for May was a Poxwalker model from Dark Imperium. Painted this one mostly because I fancied doing something different and I'd already started it ages ago. And the fact it's from Dark Imperium should tell you how far behind I am with some of these models. Still, I do like the Poxwalker models, probably because they're so varied and easy to convert, but also because they have these cheeky grins. Next up is something, sorry, let's change that angle, something a little bit different. These are some epic scale Necrons, or to be more accurate, Chaos Androids. These came out around 1991 and would have originally been on a flat rectangular base in squads of 5. However, I just had 2, so they're on a regular 25mm base, mostly to make them less easy to lose. They're really tiny. It is a fun challenge to paint at this scale, so I'll probably start painting the epic scale Marines we were sent last year soon as well. Honestly, I was just too intimidated by how small they were, but now I've done a couple of models at this scale, I think I'm ready to give them a shot. I just need to decide on a chapter now. Continuing a theme, after the little Chaos Androids I painted a big one, which originally came from Space Crusade. I really enjoyed painting this one, possibly because I'm apparently destined to paint one of every Space Crusade model. I should also thank the Noob Painter on Twitter who kindly told me how he does his lovely blue bases that I crudely emulated with the blues I had at hand for these models. But yes, again, it's painted up as a modern Necron because why not? Up next is another something that is sort of a Necron but also sort of not, some 2nd edition Scarabs. These are from 1998 and are quite a bit larger than the modern ones, hence why I could only fit 2 on a base as opposed to the 4 that we have now. Fortunate too, since I only had 2 anyway. They didn't actually come on bases at all originally, which is a little strange for a unit this small, but there you go. These were simple enough to paint, but trying to remove the flash from these was hellish since it's all around the legs and they're difficult to even access in a lot of places. In the end I just sort of gave up and painted them the best I could. Still, nice to paint something that wasn't bipedal for a change. After painting multiple things that aren't actually Necrons, I thought it was probably about time to paint an actual Necron. A modern one, that is. Fun enough to paint and mostly happy with how he came out, although I did end up spraying the Leadbelcher base coat a little thick in places, which was a little annoying. I just have a hard time judging how well silver spray has covered something, probably because it's a lot closer in colour to the base plastic/metal than, say, a black undercoat. But you live you learn, I suppose. The clear green rod thing is kind of fun, although it does sort of restrict the colours you can use if you don't want to paint over it, so I get why GW has mostly moved away from using them. Plus it does kinda look like exactly what it is, a small piece of clear green plastic, so it can break the immersion a little. I don't know, I think I'm still amused by the novelty of them, so I don't mind them. The last things I painted were a pair of 2nd edition, you guessed it, Necrons. The first was this one with the slightly bent gun, and no, that isn't because the model was damaged, the sculpt is just like that. Again, I really enjoyed painting these, possibly because they're like 90% silver, but the guns were kind of fiddly and annoying. I can see why they went for something smoother and simpler in the next iteration. Still, it was neat to see how Necron warriors did actually look a little distinct from each other at this point, as you can see on this second warrior. Honestly, I'm tempted to try and collect one of every model from this range of Necrons, since there's only like 12 of them in total and 2 of them are Scarabs, you know, the ones I've already painted. So in May I got 7 models painted, a record for this year. All it took was to paint a bunch of a faction that is mostly one colour. And I know one of those was very small, but the Razorback I painted only counts as 1, so I think I'm allowed to count those tiny androids as 1 too. Regardless, it brings my total this year to 24 models painted against 22 models bought. Shockingly, despite going to Warhammer Fest last month, ground 0 for impulse purchases, I managed to once again get ahead and am nearly at the halfway point of my goal, which makes sense since we're nearly halfway through the year, I suppose. So I shall see you next month, where I promise I'll paint something other than Necrons. Probably. You should know what I'm like by now.